Will Kevin McCarthy have enough votes to become Speaker? Today on Political Access, we're going to cover this story, so let's jump right into it. I'll scroll through this Politico article, but I'm sure you've already heard about this, and by the time you watch this video, McCarthy might already be elected Speaker, or maybe something else ends up happening. But this is all over the news. This is the big political story. So I don't want to go into the details. We know that about 19 or 20 Republicans did not vote for Kevin McCarthy. The Democrats are united behind Hakeem Jeffries. And after 3 ballots, McCarthy did not have the votes, and they adjourned and are set to resume today. So what is the reaction to this? Well, that all depends on how you want to look at it. The reaction from the Democrats, as well as most of the mainstream media, as well as a lot of the Republican establishment, is that this is chaos for the Republicans. They're fighting amongst themselves. It's a divided party being held hostage by some extremists. They're holding up the integrity of the institution, etc. So you can take that approach if you'd like. The other side of it is you could say these Republican McCarthy defectors are heroes for standing up for their principles, because McCarthy is probably going to be more of the same. He's pretty status quo. He's very establishment. And maybe the system is not working for the American people. Now, you might not agree with all of the things that those Republicans want, but in principle, I think that it should be easy to agree that it's nice to see people standing up for what they believe in. And it's very easy to cave into the establishment. They're big, they're powerful, they can craft any narrative they'd like, and if you're not with the establishment, it's usually not going to look good for you in the media. So some of you might take the hero's approach for these Republican holdouts. Now, the way I look at it is back in 2018, when Democrats recaptured the House, there were a lot of new progressive members that came in, and there was a bunch of talk about how they will not support Nancy Pelosi. She's been in there forever. She's pure establishment. She's more the same, just another corporate politician. So they did hold out for a while, and I believe they did get some concessions. And it's hard to remember exactly the kind of media coverage they got, but I think it was not very favorable because they were, again, against the establishment. And they're going to be painted as extreme, and the Democrats were fighting amongst themselves, etc., similar to how it's going on now. But the thing is, a lot of disaffected Democrats and progressive voters, they thought the progressives, the future squad members, they thought they were heroes for not immediately caving into Nancy Pelosi and the establishment. They were tired of how things were going year after year and feeling like the American people are left behind. Now, just because Nancy Pelosi was still elected on the first ballot back then, I don't really think this makes this some completely different scenario. I think this kind of a situation could easily happen with the Democrats in the future as more and more of their members become more and more progressive and anti-establishment. The same thing could end up happening. So I just sit on the sidelines and I watch and see what happens. I do at least think it's nice to see McCarthy getting some pressure, because I do think he is pretty much the same old Republican, very similar to Paul Ryan in my opinion. I know he's tried to make concessions, and he's probably going to have to make more concessions here if he wants to win it. And it's probably only a matter of time before he does win it, unless something dramatic shifts. But I don't really think it's a big deal if a speaker is not elected immediately or unanimously. To me, that's all about the democratic process. It's not all about thinking exactly alike. If you have a vote, you get to use it however you'd like. And if you don't think Kevin McCarthy is the guy to do it, then don't vote for him. You might end up voting for him because you think the alternative is worse. I understand that. But I don't think this is some complete chaotic situation. There's all kinds of spirited debates in politics, and I don't think anybody that has a minority opinion should automatically be viewed as an extremist or anti-institution. I think they're just doing what most lines up with their political philosophy and what they think best reflects the will of their constituents. So the media is always going to sensationalize drama and chaos and infighting. That's what they do. And don't get me wrong, there is definitely some of it happening this time. And it's not a great look for the Republicans to not be unified. The Democrats get to sit there and act like they're a strong voting bloc. I'd like to see some more of their disagreements fleshed out. So it's nice to be unified on certain things, but sometimes you're not unified as a party, and I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you come out of it stronger, and maybe the demands of these holdouts, maybe they're unreasonable. That's also a possibility, but I do think most of the time there's more nuance than the media lets on. So we'll see what happens. There's plenty of coverage about this, and there's plenty of different angles, narratives you can craft. But that's what I think about this Kevin McCarthy speaker situation. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this dilemma? Is it really as bad as it's made out to be? Or is this more on the overblown side? Let me know down below. And your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.